And New Jerseyans are extraordinarily generous people when it comes to our educational system, and they've given and given and given and approved school budget after school budget after school budget at higher and higher and higher property taxes, to the point where we're now the highest property tax paying state in America. And you know that a large percentage, in some towns anywhere from 60 to 75% of your property tax bill goes to your various school boards. Your K-8 school board, your high school board, your regional school board. You see it, you see the breakdown yourself when your property tax bill comes in. So New Jerseyans are incredibly generous. That's not what this is about. I know that you would be willing to continue to invest in a public education system that will prepare your children and your neighbors' children to lead America and lead the world in thought and invention, but that's not what you're getting. What you're getting now is a system that does not lead, and in fact, fails many children and their parents, and leaves them with no choice but failure. When thousands of children are on waiting lists for charter schools in Newark, and those families don't have the money to make another choice, we're failing our children and their families. And you say to yourself, how can you fail them when you're paying $24,000 per pupil? Go to some of those schools in the city of Newark. You go and sit in there and look at what's happened and see if you think that you could possibly learn with that leadership or lack of leadership. In the end, it's our fault, because we have been unwilling to stand up to the special interests who protect the status quo. We have been unwilling to speak what we know is the truth, because those in political office have feared for their political lives if they open their mouths and say it. We saw it again 2 weeks ago. Mayor Fenty of the District of Columbia was defeated in a primary because of the reforms that Michelle Reed forced in the DC public school system, and because the teachers union, the ATF, spent $1 million in that campaign to defeat Mayor Fenty. And when Randy Weingarten, the president of the ATF, was asked, why $1 million in DC if it wasn't because you opposed school reform? You can't imagine this happening anywhere but here in this time, that someone could look in the camera. She looked in the camera and said, well, you know, there's a lot of issues that our members care about in the District of Columbia, and we spent $1 million because of all those issues. Yeah, I'm sure that the ATF spent $1 million there because they're concerned about garbage collection in the district. They're concerned about snow removal on the streets. I'm sure they're worried about all that. You know why. Because Michelle Reed had become, and Mayor Fenty had become, symbols of standing up to the teachers' unions across America and demanding more for the children of DC. They went after them for that reason, and they went after them because they were producing results, God forbid. They were showing that the changes they were making, demanding accountability, getting rid of bad teachers and bad principals, and wanting to pay good teachers and good principals even more than they would be paying now, wanting to reward people based upon their performance. Now, in almost every other profession you could possibly think of, that's the way we get rewarded. They don't say to you, well, hey, congratulations, we're at the end of the year, and you are still alive. So, you've added another year onto your tenure here, so congratulations, here comes your raise. Now, your performance was awful. You didn't do what we asked you to do. You didn't produce the product we wanted you to produce. But we don't look at that. All we look at is, are you still breathing? Congratulations, you are still breathing, Open up the bank account, here comes the money. Now, it's laughable, right? It's what happens every day. Every day in New Jersey, that's what happens. Now, there'll be some who will tell you, the defenders of the status quo, that this is an attack on teachers. That what I'm saying is an attack on teachers. And let me say, I agree. But here's the difference. They say it's an attack on all teachers. I say that that kind of system is an attack on only one set of teachers, the good ones. Only an attack on the good ones. Because the good teacher who produces great results for their students, they deserve to be paid more. They deserve to be rewarded for what they're doing. They do great work and they deserve to be paid more. But we have entrenched interests in this state and around the nation who know that the inexorable truth that flows from that action is the bad ones don't deserve to get paid. The bad ones deserve to be fired, and when they are, that somehow weakens the force of their political organization. So they make a decision. Their decision is, don't reward the good ones more. Protect all of them. In Waiting for Superman, they talk about in the state of New York that it is so impossibly difficult to fire teachers. And it's not much different here in New Jersey, ladies and gentlemen. But in the state of New York, they have a place they call the rubber room. What is the rubber room? The rubber room is the place they send awful teachers who they cannot fire. And they sit in a room all day, every day, read newspapers, read books, listen to music, and get paid their full salary. Because the school district, because of the contracts that they are forced to execute by the teachers union, the school districts cannot fire these people. Or they decide it would cost them so much money to try to go through that process, and the process is going to be a failure at the end anyway. They decide it's more economically efficient to pay these people to sit in a room, and they have it in the movie. Wait till you see it. They have the room in the movie with these folks sitting around reading the paper, playing cards. All of them paid public school teachers in the state of New York. Because the system has become so corroded that that's what exists. The only thing more sinful than that, I guess, would be to leave those people in front of a classroom trying to teach kids. Are those the two alternatives we have to live with in America? To pay people who are failures for doing nothing? Or to allow them to fail our children and pay them for it? No other profession deals with its failures that way. And so, Waiting for Superman is a clarion call to the nation. And it says things in that movie that we've been saying in New Jersey now for the last 9 months. And so understand very clearly as I lay out these proposed reforms today to all of you, that I am doing this for two very simple reasons. First, because you as taxpayers and your families as the mothers and fathers, grandmothers and grandfathers, aunts and uncles of our next generation, all of you deserve better than what the system is giving you, and our reforms will help to lead to that better system for those families in New Jersey. And secondly, because I want to finally put the lie to the myth being pushed out there by the union that I oppose teachers, that I oppose public education, that I don't like or value teachers. Let me be as plain as I can be, and you know when I want to be plain, I can be fairly plain.
I am a product of the public school system in this state. I would not be standing here if not for the fact that I had wonderful teachers and a great school system that prepared me for college and law school and for all the things that I've had to confront intellectually and professionally in my life. But I have no patience any longer for a system that says, that's good for me, but depending on your zip code, it doesn't work for you. It doesn't work for some other set of children. They won't have the same opportunity to be governor that I had because that education gave me that opportunity. So I do not bash teachers. I bash their stubborn, self-interested union. That's right.